Time to follow the bouncing polls, as we have been doing now for over a year and will be snuggling up to every single day from here until November, seeking to prove to everyone that we should all be safe and warm in their statistical embrace, despite the fact they are often inaccurate, incomprehensible, intolerant of error. And by this time next month, whatever findings we have at this moment will be rendered completely and likely incorrect. But let us not allow these simple findings of fact deter us from our stated goal, that of breaking down the numbers, seeking to find that one person who can actually bring warmth to the Ice Queen, and considering how one candidate may not have an issue with a foreign power committing espionage against America. Here you thought there was nothing to talk about, right? You will assist in the talking. Have your comments ready right now. Get in line. 1-877-Newsmax. 1-877-639-7629. This the time we unleash the political animals, seek to flood the airwaves with reason instead of rhetoric, no matter how impossible that may seem. She shoots from the right, senior contributor at the Federalist, D.C. McAllister. He shoots from the left, strategist and speechwriter at Catamount Strategies, Christian Hanley. Thank you both for joining us. Let the fireworks begin. D.C., first of all to you, Donald Trump talking today, basically what some people say is committing a little veiled hint of espionage, where he hopes the Russian hackers actually get involved in Hillary Clinton's email issue, and where maybe they find those other 30,000 emails out there. D.C., I got to tell you, there are people I've talked to, and legal people I've talked to today, who said, if anybody else would have said this smacks of treason. Can't the man just stay on target?
I think everyone who is listening knows that he was joking. He's not committing espionage. But the one thing that's really important about this is two things. One, Hillary Clinton says that this is espionage, but it can't be if there's nothing classified. If this is only just about her personal emails, this has nothing to do with national security. So the question to the Democrats and to Hillary Clinton is there something that we should be concerned about? Is this actually a national security risk? If so, then she has been lying to the American people. And number two, this has been happening, these hackers, on Barack Obama's watch. And we're not holding him to account. So the real issues here is, what did Hillary Clinton really do? Is it really a national security risk, which is what she is saying today? And also, what did Barack Obama do? It's not about Donald Trump making a joke.
I am going to be the smart man now and let Christian Hanley go ahead and reply.
Well, Ed, I'm not a big fan of fish, and I can smell the red herring from here. It's just got nothing to do with Barack Obama. And let's be clear here, if we're going to talk about legalese, all right? Let's be very clear. Espionage or not, what Trump did today is he encouraged a foreign power to commit a criminal act against American citizens and against a political opponent in an American election, an attempt to sway a U.S. presidential election by a former power. This is unprecedented, and frankly, in any other year, this would be automatically disqualifying for any candidate for office, presidential or otherwise.
D.C., isn't the issue here, whether you love, hate Donald Trump, doesn't make a difference here. This is a distraction. This is stuff that's just being thrown out there. And again, is this really necessary? People who want to get behind Donald Trump, they want him to go after Hillary Clinton. Hit her with the hard stuff here. Just go after her and win this election. Does he really need to keep going here?
Well, we're not talking about Hillary Clinton today, but also it's unprecedented that Hillary Clinton, the Secretary of State, actually put our national security at risk by having her emails on a personal server for them to be hacked. So we have a major problem there as well.
So isn't that the bigger deal here that he should be focusing on, other than talking about somebody else coming in? Just keep focusing on that. That in and of itself should do enough damage to Hillary Clinton, should it not?
It shouldn't, but I also think American people should have the wherewithal and thoughtfulness to understand what the real risk is here. And it's not what Donald Trump said today. It's what Hillary Clinton actually did in violating national security protocol and putting us at risk. At
that, there is very little doubt whatsoever. All right, Christian, let's come to you now. Let's talk some numbers here that I alluded to a few moments ago. The polls are out, and some of them say, a matter of fact, the LAUSC poll says that Donald Trump has a 7-point lead over Hillary Clinton after his convention boost, and the Real Clear Politics average is just 1 point over Hillary Clinton. Come on, you have to admit right now that you may not like him, but he's making a dent here right now. And Hillary Clinton still is not the warm and fuzzy the Democrats want her to be. They can't get over that hump no matter how hard they try.
Oh, Ed, I mean, that's one that's easy to agree upon here. I mean, I would never encourage anybody in the Clinton campaign or any Clinton supporters to be complacent right now. Trump is a real electoral threat. Now is not the time to sit back and take it easy. And if you're referring to the LA Times poll that was conducted up until yesterday, We will see how those numbers shift after today's news. But I completely agree that Trump is a serious threat, needs to be taken seriously, and now is no time to sit back and be complacent.
Let's talk about Bill Clinton from last night, too, because there's still the fact that people say Hillary Clinton needs to be humanized at this point. Not as if we haven't been talking about and hearing from her for, decades now. Honestly, Christian, is there anything that you can do? Look, Bill Clinton came out and told a really nice speech about their past and talked about it, but it doesn't seem to have done anything to humanize this woman any greater than she was before.
Well, the difficulty and the issue here, the term humanized, that it's only been used to refer to two people in the past 8 years of electoral politics at this level. That's been Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama. Men do not have to worry about humanizing themselves in the same way. Let's get that out in front right now. The second issue, though, is that, and Nate Silver has published about this extensively, is that there are two camps right now that are completely recalcitrant. So people who are firmly in the Trump camp and firmly in the Hillary camp, they're not going to be swayed. They're fighting over this very thin slice, very small margin right here of swing voters. And so really it's going to come down to that small segment right there. Bill Clinton's speech, great though it was, though it spoke to every single constituency in the room, probably did not do a whole heck of a lot in terms of moving the numbers.
All right, let's get a quick call in here because this is about what we just talked about. Kim is in Rabisco, New Mexico. Kim, you believe the media is overblowing Trump's comment about Russia. Make it short, 30 seconds. Tell us why.
Okay, the minutia and the mendacity of it all. I mean, if people
You're going to get major points if you keep using big words like that because you've got to be very careful about some people in the audience, young lady.
Wait. I'm one of the people who fined for Trump. And, as far as Charlie Rose is concerned, I'm an uneducated rube. So let me answer your question. If people don't realize and have half a brain that was tongue-in-cheek and he goes off the reservation, I find it refreshing that he says what's on his mind instead of a scripted bunch of BS that we get from the Democrats day in and day out. And that's all I have to say.
And you said it very well, as a matter of fact, and we will attempt, at least on this show, to keep the BS down to a level that is tolerable. So we appreciate your call. DC, President Obama and Joe Biden are going after Donald Trump on foreign policy, and Joe Biden really went after him this morning. Is it not fair to say that still there are some people, even in the Republican Party, who would say that the Donald still needs to do a better job pushing his foreign policy forward because people are still confused?
He definitely needs to be presenting his foreign policy, and I like his foreign policy as much as it's like Rand Paul's, where it touches those points. But the Barack Obama administration is the one with the burden of proof. I mean, they're the ones who've been in office. They're the one who has the bad record when it comes to foreign policy, which Hillary Clinton is attached to. And, I did want to say something about humanizing Hillary Clinton on this point. Mitt Romney also had to be humanized in 2012, if you remember. That was a big deal in that it's humanizing Mitt. So don't make this a sexist issue about Hillary. But as far as foreign policy, she has a terrible record on foreign policy, and she's the one who's actually failed. Donald Trump has not held office, so he doesn't really have that proof to present.
All right, I got to go off script here for a moment because something has been weighing on me all day long here. There was a question somebody asked about now that Hillary Clinton is the Democratic nominee, that she is the presidential nominee. Jokes are told. Comics go after the political figures constantly. And some people are saying because she is the first woman presidential candidate, do we need to go light on her for fear of any sexist statements being made here? Christian, I'm going to throw this one to you in the first side here, because it seems to me that everything is fair game, everybody is fair game, and if we're truly talking about feminism here, she should be able to handle the same kind of jokes and the same kind of ribbing that Donald Trump is going to get from any side.
Well, and she does, and she has for over almost 25 years now. So, after all the attacks she's been up against, going back to the early 90s, a few jokes from late night comics now in 2016 is not going to do a whole heck of a lot to damage her at all.
But do we need to just say right here and right now, if somebody gets a little personal, and if somebody does the same thing with Donald Trump, back off, because this is fair game now, and we're talking about president, right?
Well, Ed, there's always a fine. I'm sorry?
Come on. Fair for everybody.
there is a fine line, and intelligent comics know the difference between a good-spirited joke and something that's downright dirty. And Hillary Clinton is not going to be the one who will take a lot of issue with jokes. She's taken a whole heck of a lot worse than jokes. It might be third parties that will react negatively, but that has nothing to do with her or her campaign.
What do you think, DC, from the woman's standpoint? Because I've heard from a couple of my female friends today who say they better stop, they better not go too far because she's a female. Others who say it's politics, baby, open the door and go.
I have two things. I think that it is politics. She's going to have to deal with it. But like Christian said, she's been dealing with this for years. I do think if you go after her in a really salacious way, that's really about her femininity, I have a problem with that for any woman.
All right. I will tend to agree with you on that, and I think Christian might have said it as well. Intelligent comics, which, by the way, since George Carlin left us, we haven't had a lot anymore, so we got to keep working on getting a few.
I would agree, Ed.
Christian Hanley, DC McAllister, thanks so much. We got a long way to go until November and all these numbers, so trust me, we're going to continue to talk about this. Look forward to seeing you again next week. All right. We are going to be taken back some 35 years ago today, an event that some hoped would never happen. Some couldn't even imagine happening at that time. Think back 35 years from today, if you were around, where you were, and what happened, what the era was. It happened earlier in the year. But what happened today with an individual being freed has a lot of people very angry. We'll talk to one next, coming up right here on The Hardline.